The LA ordinance severely restricts protesting outside of homes. Okay, so the LA City Council passed an ordinance restricting protests outside of people's houses. This became common during the time when Mayor Garcetti was doing nothing regarding the eviction crisis, the housing crisis, and of course the police protesting, police brutality, and all of that.
Yeah. That's Garcetti's home now, right?
Yeah, that's right there, Garcetti's home.
We've been there a couple times.
It's not letting me.
Yeah, I don't have the ad blocker.
If you can pull it up, I can read some of the article that I wanted to point out. And then, so the council voted 12-2 to pass the ordinance prohibiting picketing within 300 feet of a targeted residential dwelling. So what you see in the picture, they can't do anymore. It's replacing a current law that prohibits such picketing within 100 feet. So they're making it harder, further and further away. You have to stay from these people's houses. This also allows anyone who is aggrieved by the unlawful picketing to seek up to $1,000 for each violation. Aggrieved parties could include the target of the protest as well as neighbors. They passed this with no discussion. Councilwoman Nithya Raman, whose district includes Silver Lake, Los Feliz, and Councilman Mike Bonin, who represents several West Side communities, voted against the ordinance. Councilman Joe Buscano, who was running for mayor, was absent from the vote. Zari Zurikat, an attorney with the ACLU of Southern California, said the law will make it harder for protesters to make their messages heard by intended targets. The city is saying if you want to target someone's home, you have to be a football field away from either side. This could be around the corner or really far away. So, yeah, this is ridiculous, of course, because, and here's where I really get mad at the team sports mentality. This affects protesters on both sides of the aisle, whether you're a Republican protesting against mandates or you're a leftist protesting against police brutality. It affects both sides of the aisle. So to me, this is an attack once again on our civil liberties. It is once again diminishing the power of the people to have their First Amendment rights, to really be able to protest, because we have been talking about how people are getting sick and tired of politicians. And one of the things we have said on the show, and other people have said, I think Jimmy Dore mentioned it and several others, we have to make these people uncomfortable. We really have to go to their houses, to their places of residency. Well, with this law, that makes it nearly impossible. And don't make no mistake, this isn't about safety. This isn't about anything more than protecting the establishment politicians that are in power and who the people are really unhappy with. Yeah. People like Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti. We can't protest these people's houses. How many people in that remember when you went, I forget who that woman was, that you went with Gabriel Ramirez and you went in East. Was
it El Monte or
El Monte? Yeah. What are you gonna do if you can't protest at these politicians' houses?
Well, that's the thing.
Hilda Solis.
Yeah. Hilda Solis. That was her name. Yes.
The thing that's crazy that everything's crumbling down outside, right? They're trying to open up the economy. Got all these shit jobs out there you can go to for a little bit of no money. People are still on the streets. Homelessness is growing. There's no more extra money when it comes to the unemployment and stuff. They're still trying to put more lockdowns in there, more mandates on. And what are they doing? They're protecting themselves.
Right.
They're protecting themselves. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you understand that we have zero friends in fucking Congress and stuff? This is why it's so fucking bad right now. The team sports just drives me crazy because all these people are pieces of shit. You had two, somebody was absent for the vote, but two of them who said, you know what, wait a second, like, we shouldn't do this. Two people on that fucking, on that whole fucking committee that thought maybe civil liberties should be okay. And the right to protest, our freedoms, should be protected.
And they're all Democrats, right?
They're all Democrats, yeah. Yeah.
They're all Democrats. And then, supposedly, a lot of those were, progressives, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing now. Progressives don't stand up for our basic freedoms
Not
anymore.
At all.
I mean, seriously.
It's a right-wing thing to do now, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're humanists here, right? We don't get caught up in the whole nation state where we are and stuff like that. But this place was supposed to be founded on freedom, personal freedoms. The right to express yourself. This is supposed to suppress power. that we have the rights to go out there. Listen, you fucking act up, power. We'll go hold you accountable.
Right.
Well, now they're taking away the means for you to hold them accountable.
Right. And now this is LA City Council, right? So this is the city of LA only, right? However, now that there's a precedent set, right? A precedent, and the city council has done this, other cities can follow through. The state can begin assessing the situation. And by the way, we saw this similar actions with the squad voting to protect themselves with more police money at the federal level. You see how this none of these incidents are exist in a vacuum. They all have some sort of connection because they're afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid. These politicians are afraid of you now because they're seeing how people are getting desperate and how people are pissed off. So what are they going to do? They're going to protect themselves. And so to all the people on the right who constantly say, we back the blue hasn't backed you and they will not back you. Who is going to enforce certain mandates? Or they're going to be those people. They're going to be law enforcement that are going to enforce that. So leave your ideology aside. This isn't communism. This isn't socialism. This is authoritarianism and gearing towards fascism.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. No matter what side of the aisle you fall in, this should be opposed. At least the ACLU is opposing this. But this opposing this and saying mandates should be okay is contradictory. This is why people like Garland say like this doesn't make any sense. And so again, like this is just another example. You had an Instagram post, Johnny?
Yeah, so this is where I found out about it. I follow NLGLA because they're the lawyers, National Lawyers Guild, representing my case here against mine and Fee's case. It's a class representative case against the police for unlawful arrest and detainment over a year ago. So it says NLG, the National Lawyers Guild of Los Angeles condemns the Los Angeles City Council's decision to pass without discussion an ill-conceived and needless ordinance prohibiting protest activity within 300 feet of a residential dwelling. It is clear that this new law, which carries a penalty up to $1,000 for each violation, is intended to chill First Amendment activity and shield council members, the mayor, and other elected officials from the inconvenience of hearing Angelino's voice, their dissatisfaction at the ongoing failures of our political leadership. In lieu of adequately addressing housing insecurity, police killings, and the ever-widening economic inequality in one of the richest cities in the world, this council has chosen to focus on curtailing activism. Mm-hmm. The fact that the ordinance targets and prohibits not just organizers from protesting, but the act of organizing a protest itself, lays bare this thinly veiled attempt by City Council to silence dissent. We are acutely aware that the biggest contributor of noise pollution in Los Angeles is not the organized chants of protesters in front of residential dwellings, but rather the daily incessant hovering of LAPD helicopters above residential dwellings, which cost roughly $1,000 per hour to operate and do nothing to promote public safety. Abso-fucking-lutely. We strongly encourage the City Council to redirect its time and energy toward limiting bloated police budgets and securing humane housing for all, instead of developing new laws that limit political speech.
Well, thank God there's some lawyers guild on our side. You can't expect the ACLU now to jump in there.
Well, they did it for this, but like I said, it's contradictory based on their stance on mandates. I mean, this is all, again, you guys, the erosion of our civil liberties is here. I mean, it's blatant. They're putting it out there. The moment Gavin Newsom won, boom, they unleashed all the mandates, and then they of course passed this. I mean, imagine what's going on here. Think for a minute that it's not all connected. It absolutely is.
Yeah. Where's super progressive champion Kevin DeLeon? Where you at? Nowhere to be seen.
Well, he obviously voted for it because he was not one of the people that opposed.
And real quick, I just want to read a couple things. It says that this city's new law is modeled after one in San Jose, which that city passed in the 1990s after anti-abortion activists targeted abortion workers at their homes. Also, political strategist Jasmine Koenig said Tuesday she has mixed feelings about the new restrictions. Koenig was involved in protests outside the home of West Hollywood resident Ed Buck, who was later convicted of charges that he supplied the drugs that killed two men at his residence. Ed Buck is a big Democratic establishment donor. Big donor, donated to everybody. We've covered it. Look up Ed Buck, Convo Couch. Although it looks like it's, if you look up Convo Couch stuff on YouTube, it doesn't show up. So you have to go to DuckDuckGo. By the way, if we were not able to protest Ed Buck at his apartment building, I doubt we would have been able to bring the attention needed to show what was happening there. Exactly. Weighing in on the proposal, L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti said First Amendment rights aren't about targeting private citizens or residential areas. Asked if he would support the law, Garcetti said he wanted to read it first.
Oh God!
The mayor added that he didn't understand why protesters target residences when there is public space where you can certainly be heard, where you can make your protest, where you can express your voice. Garcetti said. And then apparently it requires a second procedural vote by the council.
Yes, so Tuesday. So tomorrow, I need to get more information, but I was told that you need to call in at 10 a.m. if you're in LA, obviously, that they're going to start the procedural vote. But they're trying to hide this and pass it. The fact that they could pass it on the first without any sort of discussion, that to me is insane.
I want to talk about one of the first times I went to Garcetti's house. It was kind of interesting because there was a group of Trumpers or Patriot people. Joe Collins was there and whatnot, and it was a very diverse group and stuff. So I think it's like when you have situations like this, people all understand for a second whose hands are around their neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting to see that. We haven't seen a lot of stuff like that, but that was something very intriguing.
Yeah, and protests have been going there left and right. We've seen Trump supporters go there and BLM supporters go to Garcetti's house.
Yeah, it was nice seeing the both sides going against Garcetti. That just means how awful of a mayor you've been.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
well, like I said, everybody has to realize whose hands are around their neck.
Right.
It's not each other,
right.
And that's the problem. Everybody's still going at each other. The hands around our neck are the same fucking people. We're getting choked by the same people, ladies and gentlemen, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize.